So thanks for your time. You look a little shell-shocked. How are you feeling at the moment, having seen that collapse?
Yeah, it's a tough place, isn't it? It is always tough, and when you lose games of cricket, and certainly when you're 100 for naught, and then to see what's just happened is disappointing.
Do you think the side ran out a little bit of fight after a long tour?
I don't think it ran out of fight. I mean, that's all the guys who went out there and certainly gave their all. We just weren't good enough. Whether that's a culmination of the pressure being built up on us over a long period of time, or a bit of mental tiredness. I don't know. It's people will look at that and say it's an excuse or whatever. We haven't been good enough in these conditions, and I said at the beginning of the series it was vitally important that we stayed in the contest for as long as we can, because you've seen in previous tours here in India, once they get ahead of you, it's very hard to bounce back. And say the New Zealand series is kind of similar, close to the first couple of games, and once they get ahead, their confidence goes, and it's very hard to stop that momentum.
4-0 down, is that a fair reflection on the cricket that's been played in this series?
Whether it's fair or not, it's hard to say. We've struggled to take 20 wickets and we haven't got enough runs, so it probably didn't deserve much more than that. We've missed opportunities. We've been in games, obviously had good fortune to win 4 out of the 5 tosses. And we have been in the games, but we haven't been good enough to take those opportunities and push home an advantage which we had, or to stay with them. So it's sometimes you have to hold your hand up and say you're not good enough in these conditions, and we have to try and improve when we come back here. 4
important tosses won in the series. A lot of focus on the bowlers and the spinners and being out here in their conditions, but that surely has got to be a concern that you haven't put the big runs on the board, having been in pole position.
Yeah, a lot of the times we've been 260 for 4 and getting 400. And the difference in one sense is when those guys have got hundreds, they've gone and got big hundreds. We've scored hundreds, but not any real big ones. And it's in these conditions, starting is the hard thing. It's once you get in, you got the opportunity, as India have shown, to go massive. We haven't been good enough to do that.
What about the selection? You've mixed around with 4 seamers, 3 seamers, 3 spinners. Have you been a bit confused at times in your selection?
I think when you lose games of cricket, you look for different combinations which work, which tried to work. Selection, or whatever you want to say, obviously without any a break in the series to try things out, the only way is in a game. So we wanted to have a look at 4 seamers to see if it gave us more control in the first innings on a pitch which probably spun the most. So we probably made some poor calls.
Who has advanced their cause in your opinion on this trip?
It's a hard question to answer right now. The guys have been brilliant in terms of attitude, in terms of determination to try and improve. But it's a hard juggernaut to stop, the Indian juggernaut at home when they're playing as well as that. So I can't fault the lads' application, the efforts. We've stuck together as a group, but quite simply, catches have gone down when they need to be taken. We haven't bowled with enough control for long periods of time, and we haven't got the big hundreds.
Can I ask you about Adil Rashid, though? He's taken a lot of wickets in this series, but at times you don't seem to have been able to have any control with him. How would you assess how he's gone?
He's at the beginning of the series, a big series for him. To take 20-odd wickets is a really good effort. I think we saw a big improvement when Saki was around, and that was, I think, actually you can look at our spinners when Saki has been around. It's really helped them, and that's something which we need to look at in these conditions. But yeah, I'm sure he would have learned a lot from it. It's not many leg spinners have that control over here. The slightly quicker bowlers who can fire wicket to wicket seem to get a huge amount of success.
8 Test defeats this year, yet you've sort of got 4 guys that have scored over 1,000 runs in the calendar year. So there have been some bright spots, but why so many defeats, do you think?
I don't know. We haven't been good enough.
Has the Test side stagnated in the last 12 months, do you think?
Yeah, it's a fair shout. Look, you can say whatever you want now. I can't. If I turn around here and slag everyone off and use emotive language and stuff, you're not doing your job. So, when you lose games of cricket, you get criticised and you have to take it on the chin. As
it stands at the moment, do you feel you're the right person to lead the Test side forward?
This is not the place to be standing asking me these questions. I've got to go away, do some thinking. Get back home, and do it without the emotive side of what's happened over the last 9 weeks.
Safe trip home.
Thanks, mate.